I had a assistant United States attorney actually join me in a recommendation for probation where he was previously recommending that the client goes to prison for 5 years. So that's how effective the videos can be. And the judge agreed, after seeing the video, agreed to put the person on probation.
Hi, I'm Tom Watson. I'm with Wisconsin Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company, and with me is Vada Edari. Vada is one of the 10 Legal Innovators of the Year from last year, as recognized by the State Bar of Wisconsin. Vada is a criminal defense lawyer. And Vada, you took on some innovative ways in the way you represent clients. Tell us about that and what innovation means for you.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, one of the things that I've incorporated into my practice is the use of audiovisual tools at sentencing. It's not something you can do in a trial context, but at sentencing, which is most often where we end up as criminal defense lawyers, it's becoming more and more critical for us to develop new ways of developing mitigation strategies for our clients. I go into clients' homes, I videotape their families, looking at pictures on the mantle of when they were babies, and it just humanizes them. You know, there's some criticism that, oh, you're just trying to appeal to people's emotions. Well, yeah, we are. You know, this is an emotional process, and these are humans who are going to be possibly serving very long periods of time in prison. And I think a lot of judges and even a lot of my opponents, they want to know who is this person behind these criminal charges and behind the conduct. Interviewing the defendant, the client, having them explain their circumstances themselves outside of the courtroom is very effective, because when you get to a courtroom and you're standing behind a podium, as lawyers we end up saying a lot of the same things for every single client. So I think it's a very good technique to allow the client to really be able to tell their story.
Lawyers, do you think they have to sort of repackage the way they provide services?
I think they do. And I mean, you also have to be careful of overusing certain techniques. I do the videos rarely. I might do them once a year in a compelling case where there's very high stakes, but there's a good reason to, you know, deviate from what might be the norm for a sentencing in that case. But beyond that, I mean, I do other things in my practice. At sentencing, I have my clients do allocution pleadings. I give them basically like an essay exam, where they're writing in their own words, you know, responses to certain questions, like what was your life like as a child? And what comes out of that is, you know, a person that I don't even know. You let the client tell the story, and even as a lawyer sometimes I'm like, wow, I didn't know this until I read their writing in their own words. So I think, you know, part of this is also this shift towards client-centered practice. And I think that's very important. I think we're kind of moving into a world where there is a demand for change. You know, we have to start, I think, letting our clients' stories shine. Mm-hmm. So, and it gets results, because I've seen it.
Change is difficult. It's scary. What do you say to lawyers in that situation?
You know, I am one of those people. I'm a creature of habit, and I think lawyers, and particularly litigators, we tend to be very kind of rigid. We don't like change. And when you run a busy practice, there's a learning curve you got to get over when you make change. But once you try that and you see the results, and you see how it draws more business to you, and you see how it's in your client's best interests, you won't go back. So there was a time where I practiced, you know, everything was written down on paper before I'd even put it on the computer, and then I'd transcribe it. I'd write briefs on paper and then transcribe them. When I was in Eastern Washington, my boss there, Andrea George, instituted a rule where our whole office had to be paperless. And I was very resistant to that until I had my first trial in that district, which I did entirely from my iPad. And since then, I won't do it any other way. I do everything on my iPad. It's once you learn to do it, once you get over that initial resistance, the fear of the unknown, it's hard to go back, because it's so much more efficient. And the nature of our practice, the world that we're in, it's inevitable that